Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Sneaky Shoes, and in today's video we are going to be doing a Universal ride tier list. This is for the Orlando part, and the reason I'm doing this today is, we just got back from Universal yesterday, so I don't know, I was just pretty bored and I wanted to do something new. This is probably going to be the first video on this channel, so I'm going to give you my honest opinion on everything. So I've got a really nice list right here of the main rides at Universal. So I didn't go on all of them, but I did go a couple years ago, and I'm just going to be very blunt and honest with this list because I was expecting a lot more from some of these rides and didn't get as much, but then I was expecting nothing from some rides and got a lot more. So let's get into it. So first up is the ET ride. I haven't been on this ride, or I didn't go on this ride yesterday, but I went on this ride I think when I went 7 years ago, when I last went to Universal, and to me it is like the most C or D tier ride ever. Like, I don't know, compared to everything else that's on this list, like, a lot of the stuff that's on this list, there is really exciting rides, and then there are just like really cool like dark rides. E.T. is neither of those, and it's pretty boring for the most part, and I'm also not really a big fan of the film in general, so that's probably another reason I didn't really like it. I'm going to be going out of order on this list just because I know some of the goats are up here already, so we're going to have to save the best for last, you feel me? Let's take, I think this is Doctor Doom's Fear Fall right here. I'm going to put this one at the C tier. I remember when last time I went, I was pretty young whenever I went to Universal, and I expected a lot out of this ride because I really liked it when I was a kid. For some reason, it was in my top 3 as a kid, but I don't know why. I was just a bad opinion maker, I guess. But now it was like the most underwhelming ride I've been on in a while. I mean, it's still fun, it's not as bad as E.T. Adventure, but there's a whole lot better that's in Universal Orlando than that. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty average. I wouldn't say it's a terrible ride, it's just underwhelming. Next up is the Cat in the Hat ride. So, this is just temporary spot for it right now, but I went on this ride and I thought it was something special. I mean, it wasn't a ride for me because I am an adult, but nonetheless we decided to go on this ride. I think it's a, for kids, I would say it's a C tier ride is what I'm going with there. I mean, what's not to love if you're a parent taking your kid here? I think it's pretty interesting, pretty neat. So, I mean, that's my ranking for that. I really don't know what else to say about it. The robots and animatronics are kind of creepy on the ride, so that's something, and it's gets you pretty motion sick after a hot day at Orlando, so it's sometimes not the best ride to go on if you're really motion sick and hot and dizzy. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and I don't know what to put Pterodon Flyers because I've never been on this ride because you have to be like under 12 or something to go on that ride. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't know what to say. I hate to put it in F tier though because I've never been on it. Let's see what we have here. I mean, this is a ride that's like right outside of the Hulk ride, and it's just the teacups from Disney. So I mean, it's a C tier. There's really nothing much to say about it. And I know I'm feeling pretty negative right now, but trust me, it's because I have a big high expectation level for the park, if that makes sense, So I'm giving everything high expectations, and I'm already going ahead and getting the bad rides out of the list is my thing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get the stinkers out of the list. So this one is Flight of the Hippogriff, I believe, which is kind of a kiddie coaster. And the Harry Potter's side on Islands of Adventure. For what it is, I think it's pretty cool. There's a really cool animatronic hippogriff. I'm not really a Harry Potter fan per se, but I respect the franchise, you feel me? So, I mean, I think it's a cool ride for kids and stuff, so that's why it's in the B tier for me. Alright, so let me go ahead and grab one because I've seen so much bad things about, you can't even hardly call it a ride, you just stand on like a walkway the entire time and it moves you, is Villain Con in Universal Studios. I mean, to me, it was a lot better than I heard from people online because everyone was saying, "Oh, this ride is so trash. Oh, I never go on this ride, yada yada yada." But you know, I think it was pretty decent in my opinion. And Trey Parker is on the ride as that one guy from Despicable Me 3. I don't know his name, but that was pretty awesome. So yeah, up next, I guess we'll go ahead and do this one. This ride is super lame, even as a kid, because you just basically sit in a giant movie theater, and then just sit in like a cart, and just watch a screen, and the cart sometimes moves. Like, that's literally this entire ride for Despicable Me Minion Mayhem. It is not worth it, and when we went yesterday, there was an hour wait for the ride, so that is definitely not worth it when you can go on literally any other ride. Like Spider-Man had a 15-minute wait, and so did the Hulk ride. So you can easily go on either of those rides, and they are much better than Despicable Me Minion Mayhem, and you have to wait way less time. Alright, so never been on this ride either. It's like a kid's thing for Dr. Seuss Land, and I'm gonna go ahead and knock out this Simpsons one because I've never been on it either, so who knows. Hogwarts Express, I don't know if you can count this as a ride, but for what it is, it's a B tier, because it's a really neat way to get around to both parks. You don't have to walk all the way back to the entrance of Islands of Adventure or Universal Studios to get to the other one. That's kind of a long walk. It's like at least a 10-15 minute walk to get through all that, especially on a hot, crowded day, you know. So this being here is pretty neat. I like it, and yeah, I don't know what else to say about it. So we're gonna start getting into, I guess, the rides that are actually kind of cool here. The Race Through New York with Jimmy Fallon. This ride sucks. Like, there is nothing to say about it. This ride is straight buns. It is the most boring thing ever, and the IP it is from, which is literally Jimmy Fallon, is not like interesting at all to me. Like, I want you to go, like, call someone up real quick while you're watching this video and ask them, hey, are you a big fan of The Tonight Show? Because chances being no one will ever say they cared for The Tonight Show. I have never heard anyone that is a fan of Jimmy Fallon or The Tonight Show. I don't mean anything against Jimmy Fallon. I think he's a fine person, but to have a whole ride themed about him, to me, is pretty ridiculous in and of itself. So that's why I have it at this placement. It was very boring and uninteractive, and I literally only went there to get out of the sun, and then the waiting room is just a very small, claustrophobic, full of a ton of hot and sweaty people. It just was not it was not a good experience. Alright, so moving on, we got Skull Island Reign of Kong. It's a very mid ride. It is a very mid ride. The only thing that's cool is the very end, and that has that giant animatronic of Kong. That is like the only cool part of this ride, but I mean, the wait was like less than 5 minutes when we went. So if you're just trying to take a breather from it all, I suggest going on that ride if you really want to. I'm going to go ahead and put everything in its correct tiers, but at the end of this list, I'm gonna fix it around to see what it all was, like to how my specific ranking goes. Okay, so this is the Popeye ride. I did not go on this ride the last time we went there, but it is a fun ride. You will get soaked if you go on it. And yeah, it's pretty awesome for what it is. It's a good water ride. I don't really know if I have much to say about it. The theming is nice. I don't know. So then we have the merry-go-round that's in the Dr. Seuss Land. I did not ride it, so I have to put it in this spot. And then here comes my least favorite ride I think I've ever been on, is the Fast and Furious ride. It is the biggest waste of time ever. If you have a soul or anything going into this park, always skip this ride. It is horrible. It is horrible. I don't know how to explain it. They mess up a ride where you have to look at a bunch of screens, and for some reason they made, I don't even know, Don Toretto, is that his name? I don't know, the main character of Fast and Furious. They make him like the same size as a helicopter, and he hangs onto this helicopter on the ride, and he's like as big as the helicopter. It doesn't make sense. It is just a really, really, really strange ride, and it's not fun. And there's usually a long line, and it's really boring. The only thing good that ever came from this ride was that one Impractical Jokers episode, if you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so next up, these are all pretty decent rides, except I'll take out the Simpsons ride. I genuinely felt kind of sick on this ride, I'll be honest. I don't know. I was just having a bad headache from this ride, and there's like one part in the ride where it sprays baby powder in the room, and it really is really not fun when that happens. So yeah, not a big fan. This is also a Dr. Seuss ride I forgot to take out, but yeah, it's there now. And then this one is really cool. This one's the Ripsaw Falls. This is at least an A for me. So we have our first great ride. Like for me, how I see this is these are okay rides, and then this is mediocre, bad. B tier is good, A tier is great, and then S tier I wouldn't change, or very minor changes. Alright, so yeah, I would say this ride was very, very fun for what it was. You will get soaked if you go on the ride, so just watch out. Alright, so all these rides here, I'm excited to rank these. So this is the Transformers ride. It is, we'll rank the Spider-Man ride in a second, but it is a very, very just like not as good version as the Spider-Man ride, but it's still a good ride though. I still recommend, if you go to Universal, definitely check this out. I think if you're a big fan of Transformers, you'll have a great time. I'm not really a fan of Transformers, so I guess it wasn't as cool to me, but if you like Transformers, then I would definitely say check this ride out. Next up, we have Spider-Man, because I just talked about it. This is a classic ride. We all love Spider-Man here, and Spider-Man was just a very fun ride. There was no wait for the ride either, but we also did go on the ride at 9 in the morning whenever the park did open, so there may be bias there, but this is a great ride. You must go on this ride if you go to Disney, or not Disney, Universal, I'm sorry. Next up, we're going to rank the Men in Black ride. So Men in Black is very fun. I think if you're a fan of the franchise, you'll really like this ride. I never watched a single Men in Black movie, but I really did enjoy this ride very much. It was like, it's one of those like shooter rides where you have to shoot a bunch of like targets, whatever. Very fun ride regardless. We have Rip Ride Rocket up next. I'm gonna put it in B. To me, it's a bit underwhelming for like this massively tall roller coaster, and to me the only interesting part is the first drop, and then everything else is it's just mid afterwards, I guess. So yeah, I think it was fine. Yeah, I don't know. That's all I can say about it. It's just a pretty good ride. Alright, next up we have Hagrid's Motorbike. This ride, I haven't been on it in years, but it's good. My only problem is there is no line for Express Pass, and that is really dumb for a ride that came out like 3 or 4 years ago. That's kind of ridiculous to me. Anyways, that's just my thoughts. So now we have Jurassic Park. I'm gonna put Jurassic Park in A tier. It's a great ride, but the problem with Jurassic Park is it's so old, man. Like when we went on it, the long neck dinosaur at the beginning, it just didn't work. Like its neck was just suspended in the air. It didn't make any noise. It didn't move. Like my biggest problem was the ride would be really cool if all the stuff worked. I get it. It's like 25 years old this year, I believe, but you can also do what Disney does. Like I think, what is it? Haunted Mansion is very, very old now, and that ride is still like operating perfectly, I think, and so with Pirates of the Caribbean and stuff like that. But I was just very disappointed when I went to Universal this year, because I remember 7 years ago it worked pretty well, and I thought this is one of my favorite rides in the park whenever I went a couple years ago. But now to me, it's a great ride, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't as great as I thought it was gonna be. Alright, so next we have okay, Revenge of the Mummy. This is easily a top 3 ride at Universal. It was my favorite ride before this past trip, but it's no longer my favorite ride. It is number 2, and we'll get to what my favorite ride is later, but just know that this ride is fantastic. I think it's been open since the 2000s. It still looks very good to this day. It's very well cared for, and then it's just super fun. Like, it's a super fun inside coaster. It's definitely the best inside coaster at Universal Orlando. So yeah, if you want, or if you ever go to the park, you definitely need to check this ride out. Alright, so we have 4 left. I'm going to go ahead and do the Gringotts Bank. This is a very, very good ride. Like, I remember not liking it as much whenever I went when I was younger, but now that I went yesterday, this ride is fantastic. Like, it is genuinely very good, and especially if you're a Harry Potter fan. I'm not really a Harry Potter fan myself, as I said earlier, but I still can really appreciate this ride. Alright, so let's go ahead and get Harry Potter out of the way. So, Hogwarts, to me, is a top 4 ride. Alright, spoiler alert, these are already in the top. But yeah, Hogwarts, the theming is just incredible around this ride and the entire area of, I think it's Diagon Alley, right? Yeah, that theming is just incredible over there, and I really, really suggest checking this ride out. Yeah, the animatronics are fantastic on it. It's pretty scary, too. Like, I'm surprised it was actually kind of scary for a Harry Potter ride. But, yeah, so next up is the Hulk, and this ride is incredible. I don't think there's anything else to say about it. It's super fun. The wait time is super short for some reason. Like, this ride you see as soon as you enter the park, and the wait time is extremely short. Alright, so definitely check this ride out. And then, to me, after going yesterday, the last time I went, I think, was 2016, 2017, one of those years. But Velocicoaster wasn't open yet, and I can say with confidence now that this is the best roller coaster I have ever been on. If you have not heard anything about Velocicoaster, watch a video on it, and you will see how incredible it is just from the video alone. Because to me, how I've always seen rides is, you know, I've always grew up going to Six Flags and stuff, and that the beginning of the ride is usually the best part, and then that, like, second half of the ride is pretty mid usually. The Velocicoaster is great at the beginning and even better at the second half, because you go to a top speed of 70 miles per hour and zoom through the park. It has beautiful views, and I think that it is without a doubt the best ride I have probably ever been on in my entire life. So now that we're at this part, we have all the rides ranked. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in order. So this is what it would probably be for me. With these, I will put that right there. Okay, that's fine. I'll put Men in Black a little bit lower. That's fine. Actually, now I'll move this one up. And then, yeah, that's a good ranking right there. I'm actually gonna put Villain Con. You know what? It's gonna be controversial. Villain Con's a B tier. I'm gonna get so much hate for that, but I truly do think that. Yeah, I'll put Skull Island, I guess, at the top of C. The Simpsons, this is fine. And then, yeah, there you go. So this is easily the most objective, non-subjective list ever you'll see for Universal Studios. So yeah, if you like this video, please let me know. You know, I would like to start making more ranking videos, and you want to see other content, just put it in the comment section and I will make a video on it maybe. But yeah, I've been Sneaky Shoes, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.